one of the one of the biggest misconceptions that we get a lot is who's the perpetrator and who's the victim. And when you look at girls and boys in high school, the rates for teen dating violence are actually similar. Um, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily understand. I remember I went to a high school recently and I was presenting to several health classes. I think it was like three or four. But one of the health classes specifically was all boys. And I remember the like teacher or instructor saying to me, yeah, this is a group of all boys. So, you can rough them up a little bit and tell them, hey, like, don't put your hands on women or don't do this. And in my mind, I was just like, you know, some of these boys might be victims. Just because they're, young boys and men doesn't mean that they don't endure the same amount of violence as a woman does. Um, and so with that, a lot of the times when I go into presentations, I like to be gender neutral. Um, to kind of combat that misconception. And then also, we know that sometimes, although the rates may be similar, some statistics say that women experience more of the physical violence and men can, experience more of the verbal and emotional. But I don't think that it matters really what type of abuse they experience. They both, at least girls and boys in high school, both experience abuse at the same rates, regardless of what type of abuse it is. So I like to keep that in mind. Other misconceptions, I think, too, and these can also be applied to adult survivors as well. But other misconceptions, I think that come with teen dating violence is just when you think about our LGBTQ plus community, and thinking that, because it is either the same sex, um, or because they have like similar sexualities, that they can't be abusive to each other. Um, and I think a lot of cultural things play into that too, depending on what cultural community that you come from. And so also, like I said, when I go into presentations, I like to be um, gender neutral with that as well. And I don't talk too much about sexuality either. I just kind of generalize everything, um, so that people don't feel, I guess, pointed out or um, excluded in conversation, for that matter. Other misconceptions I would say would be that this I think this is a misconception among parents is that um, our youth, that like because they're kids they don't can't experience these adult like experiences, as if like because you're a kid, abuse is something for adults. Like you don't know what that is, you can't experience that. That's not true. And I think the problem with that is that we invalidate our youth experience, creating an even bigger barrier to them seeking help, and making them feel like these things aren't real. Also, with social media, same thing. Sometimes parents can be like, social media isn't real, nothing on there is real. This isn't good for you. Like, this is a, virtual reality or whatever the case may be. But the abuse that your child is experiencing on social media is very real. And so I think we have to get to a point where we change our language behind a lot of things to not invalidate their experiences. A lot of parents, on the flip end, want their child to be open and want their child to talk to them about things, and want to kind of create that safe space. But doing things like that, telling them social media isn't real, or telling them that these are adult things and there's no way they could experience it, it invalidates them and it makes them not want to have those conversations with sometimes the people that can help them the most. And so I think that's a big misconception that we kind of have to knock down when it comes to parents.